Hello, good morning. I've just woken up to the news of Robin Williams' apparent suicide. He's a victim of his own depression, and I thought actually I'd bite the bullet, dive in, and talk about depression and archaeology. Um, in recent years, actually, it's really been shown that archaeologists, disproportionately compared to many other professions, suffer from depression. And this may well be to do with working standards, pay rates, the relationship between expectations as a bright-eyed, bushy-tailed undergraduate and the reality of trying to get a job in the sector that we love. But also, I suspect it's also down to the type of person who is drawn to being an archaeologist. Often, people who observe the world in very particular ways, people who are either culturally, emotionally, or scientifically intuitive, people who look for patterns and are often deeply hurt or deeply confused when some of those patterns don't quite pan out the way they think. And these patterns, these tendencies, are some tendencies of a depressive personality. Now, I have to say, hand up, me, I have suffered and occasionally do suffer from different types of depression. In the past, I've been tremendously depressed. I really have, genuinely, genuinely suffered from horrible bouts of depression. And if I'm honest, recently, in the past couple of months, I have been almost, I would say, almost depressed. I haven't quite gone into that dark pool again, but something happened at the end of the year with a local business partner. I won't go into it any more than that. Someone or a group of people with whom I was working, which really hurt me and surprised me and made me reevaluate where I was and made me doubt actually where I was personally, but also professionally in terms of archaeosoup and as an archaeologist. Now, thankfully, I'm really lucky. I've got coping mechanisms. I've also actually got an amazing wife who supported me through the past couple of months, because it has been undoubtedly weird, because she understands full well that these things aren't necessarily always in my control. The doubts that creep in about oneself when one is a depressive are not just, it's not vanity. Some people sort of say, oh, well, if you're depressed, just cheer up, man, cheer up, go and take a walk. But that is exactly the same as saying to an anorexic, oh, stop being so vain, will you? Eat something. That's not the way it works. And I have to say, the reason why I'm inspired to make this video is partly because of Robin Williams' death, who is a hero and an inspiration to many people, not least, of course, myself. But also as well because actually I'm guilty of exactly what many people are guilty of, and that is not just talking about it and not accepting it really in public all that much. Lots of people think of me as being creative, or they think of me as being a bit down, a bit moody, a bit sort of sort of the loner, kind of slightly miserable type at parties, for example. But it's just because my personality is such that often, for example, at parties, I much prefer small gatherings. I don't like overwhelming masses of people and music and mandatory fun. These things are not conducive to me having fun, and that's just because of the type of person I am. I am emotional, over analytical. I am creative, but I'm also self-destructive, and it's not easy to admit that. But it's also even more difficult, it seems, for society to accept that people can have an illness which is not visual, and that can come and go, and which isn't just about gumption and stiff upper lip and all that kind of thing. In the past, I've broken my ankle. I had to go to a doctor to get it fixed. In the past, actually, I've had my nose, part of my nose was kicked off in a rugby match. This half here came away from my face, had to be sewn back on. Wasn't very pleasant. Those are physical ailments, but not long after that, I suffered a very deep depression in high school. Now, many people feel depressed in high school, as it were, but I'm talking about actual, genuine depression, where you can't just pull yourself out of it, but easily at least. And I suppose I'm hoping that just by talking about it, by accepting it, by acknowledging it very publicly, other people will feel that they're not alone, because you're not alone. And while you're in that place, while you're in that space, it can feel as though either you are alone, or even the best intentioned people around you, they don't really know just how horrible you are. They're trying to help you and you're not worth their help. It can also feel as though the world is sort of muted. I mean, one of the things that I've noticed, for example, when I was at one point depressed during university, was actually looking up is a sign for me of being okay. If I'm looking around, I'm looking up, then I'm all right. If I'm looking at the floor all the time, I'm not joking. I think I probably spent about a year and a half, more or less, just looking at the floor when I was doing my degree. And that's not because of my degree, by the way. It's just because I was going through a patch, as it were. Now, I don't think, or I'm hoping, I don't think that I'll ever go back into that again, because I do have a lovely life now. I have a lovely wife. I have a lovely group of people who support me in my life. I have an exciting business, and I have friends and family and people who, for example, in a more ephemeral way, for example, watch these videos, who remind me that actually life is rich, and it's worth living, and it's complicated, and it's not always my fault when things go wrong. So I hope that I won't go back there again. But if there are those people out there who are feeling like that, who are feeling close, as I have felt close in the past couple of months, or who are feeling literally as though this kind of makes sense, but at the same time, you don't know, you don't understand, I'm so worthless. Let me tell you, you're not worthless. It is different for everyone, but at the same time, it needs to be acknowledged as an illness, and as a way, as something which can be treated, but also needs to be given time for people to actually get through it. So I don't know. I don't really know how I want to end this video, but I just thought I'd make a little piece just acknowledging the relationship between archaeologists and depression, between myself and depression, and the tragic loss of a great man in Robin Williams, a great comedian, a great human being, a great computer game fan. He even named his daughter Zelda, actually. And I don't know, if you're even remotely close to doing anything along the lines of what he's done, just don't. I'm not going to patronise you by giving you, the number of the Samaritans or depression helplines and all this kind of thing. I'm not going to do that, but just don't do it. Talk to someone, and if you don't want to talk to someone, breathe. Just keep breathing, and you can get through this. Okay, cool. So that's my piece. I know I've been very honest in this video, and it might make some people uncomfortable. And this isn't entirely on topic. There's a loose thread. Like I say, archaeologists can get depressed, but then again, all human beings can get depressed. But please bear with me on this one, and also as well, just feel free to share this video, or share other related content. Just make sure people know that they don't have to do this kind of thing alone. And also, frankly, if they if they do go the whole hog and kill themselves, they'll be missed. Let people know that they'll be missed, and thankfully I know that I would be missed. Anyway, look after yourselves, everyone. Take care. Until next time, bye bye.